All of us are looking for a life of meaning and significance. A life that makes a difference in the world. A life that truly matters. We believe this is found through the right people, platform, and purpose. We call this movement 3. It starts with giving people greater health through the power of our proactive wellness products. 3's innovative formulas deliver demonstrable results by maximizing bioavailability and cellular absorption, ensuring people everywhere can enjoy the nutrition they need to operate at their best. Building on our foundation of people-focused products, we provide a platform for unparalleled entrepreneurship and personal growth. 3 is there beside you every step of your journey towards building a business and a better life. Finally, we know that a sense of real purpose, the kind that moves hearts, minds, and mountains, comes through serving and elevating others. This philosophy is reflected in our caring community, which bring hope and life-saving help to people around the world. It's time to redefine what's possible and activate your full potential. It's time to live a life of purpose. It's time for 3.
All right. Well, that was an overview of our company 3. My name again is Francoise Untermeyer. I'm a 6-star director with this company, and I'm so excited for you guys to be here today because this industry has really blessed our families' lives. And I remember when I saw this space of network marketing, it was about 7 years ago. I was actually a stay-at-home mom by trade. I was a director of nursing. I started my career working with the governor of Florida. I helped run the brain and spinal cord injury program. And then I moved into Alzheimer's dementia, and I was a director of nursing of 4 departments. My largest over 1,000 people, and it was very high stress. And I had these 2 beautiful babies, and my life just got really complicated. I was in this hamster wheel of life where I just felt like I wasn't a mom and I wasn't a wife, and I was crying all the time. And so my husband and I, we took the leap of faith, and I decided to stay home with my kids. And at the time, it was very hard for me. My son was diagnosed with some special needs. And so, as a mom, I was struggling with a lot of things. And so we had a lot of pressure in our house. And my husband is a general contractor, and he had a very successful business. And just a few weeks after I decided to walk away from my job as a director of nursing, making 6 figures, this was 2008, 2009, and the economy crashed. And that was one of those moments in our life where we were like, oh my goodness, how did this happen? And through 7 years, God was good and we were able to rebuild back. But through that time, we've learned some valuable lessons. One, our health is very important to us. And so we always are looking at innovative technologies and things that we can do to keep our health. But also what was very important to us too is never be caught in a position where we had all our eggs in one basket. And so I was introduced to this industry by a friend. She was a PA, and she knew I was looking for more financially. She knew I was looking for more in my health. And I just saw it. I saw an opportunity that could possibly change my life. I would have to say I was scared to death because this is something totally out of my comfort zone. But what I have learned is if you're here today and you feel like, well, I don't know if this is for me. I didn't think it was for me, but I do know I was praying for something. And if you've been praying for something in your life, and somebody is knocking, it's best just to listen, because here I am 7 years later, and I have been able to retire from nursing. I have got to homeschool my kids. And not only that, I've been able to retire my husband from construction, and we do this together. So I fell in love with the industry. I've been in, other companies, but when I saw this company 3, I just knew it was something I want to be part of, because I think right now in the climate that we're in since 2020, things have just changed. And I feel like people are really searching, and there's a lot of people feeling very hopeless. And I feel with the company 3, there's a movement of hope, whether it's physically, financially, emotionally, or spiritually. I feel like we have something could really bless you. If you're on here tonight, you say, I have all the friends, all the money, all the time, the best health. Well, maybe this isn't for you, but I'm super excited that you're in that position. But I feel like a lot of people are praying for opportunities, whether, they just can't afford to pay their bills these days. Just going to the grocery store is so expensive, or maybe their health is not in a good place. And since 2020, people are looking at their health in a different way. So with 3, we are looking for the right people with good intentions, but good intentions are overrated. We want people with good action that's going to put action behind their intention. And with our company, with a purpose, doing something has to be bigger than money. Yes, you could do really, really well here financially because you are seeing this in its infancy. But if you have a purpose behind that with this beautiful platform combined with science and entrepreneurship, I think you could really do something special for your family. All right, so let's talk about who is the founder of this company. This is Daniel PQ. He's a dear friend of ours. We've worked with him on another platform. He's someone that has stayed at my home here, played with my children, someone that I really highly respect, not only for what he's done as an innovative business leader, 20 years experience, but as a person. He has a really big heart to serve. And, I think every company, every business, it rises and falls on leadership, and leadership is very important to me. Who's covering my family? And this is a gentleman that I highly respect. He has been very successful. He's very young. He's in his mid 40s, but he's not a trust fund baby. He has come from a mother and a father that were unfit. He grew up in a group home. He knows what it's like not to have a lot. And he's really worked his way to the top with the right heart and good intentions. So a lot of experience in the industry, but he knew that if he was going to bring something to the marketplace, he wanted it to be very disruptive. And so he has formulated a scientific advisory board for our company. And I'm so excited today because I'm actually in a moment going to hand it over to one of my dear friends, one of my husband and I's best friends. Him and his wife, Donna, are just the most loyal, giving, kind-hearted, fun people we know, but he's also really smart too. I'm going to first talk about Dr. Timothy Snyder because he's going to be presenting tonight the company and the products, and then I'll jump back on at the end. But Dr. Timothy Snyder, he's an ophthalmologist, surgeon here in Jacksonville, Florida, internal medicine doctor. He has studied at Mayo Clinic. He's studied at Johns Hopkins. He was the 9th person in the world to do LASIK surgery. He has degrees in health and wellness and all the things, but he is also the chairman of 3. And so I'm so excited to present him today to you. He's going to jump on and talk about the science and why we are so different, why 3 is not like anything you've seen in the industry. And so I would like to present Dr. Snyder to you.
So I'm a full-time practitioner here in Jacksonville. In fact, I am literally my office is maybe 10 minutes from here. So anyway, I love Jacksonville. And let me just tell you about why I do this. So I'm a full-time ophthalmologist, ophthalmic surgeon, Mayo Clinic trained, Johns Hopkins trained. But one of my hobbies and one of the things I am most interested in is how is it that God gave us this amazing body? How is it that he gave us all of these amazing phytonutrients in the world? And how do we somehow as human beings screw it up? And so that's really where my love of natural wellness, natural healing sort of came in. And I've been studying this really since the 8th grade. I think it probably started when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and I was always looking for ways to stay healthy. And so it started with the fads of things like vitamin C and vitamin E and protein and all those kinds of things. And then it sort of evolved into getting extra training in something called anti-aging medicine. And so I participated in a master's level program regarding anti-aging and regenerative health. So it was through that process. And then I just happened to run into Ricky and Francoise once, and we started talking about liposomal technology, and it's everything that I'd always been interested in is how can we get these nutrients into the body? And that's really where my journey began. And so I'm sort of Daytime, I'm an ophthalmic surgeon, and then nighttime, I am someone who is trying to convince you to take control of your health and wellness, that it is up to you. We have to quit relying on the medical industry and the pharmaceutical. And I'm here to just give you a almost beg you to try to take control. So this is a company that has innovative products. That's why I'm here. These innovative products were designed primarily by Dr. Dan Gubler, who you see on your screen right now. He is one of the smartest individuals that I have ever met. He is a biochemist. He has formulated many different nutritional supplements. One of my favorite characteristics of him, it's not a characteristic, it's in his resume. I read his resume, and he's actually spoken in 40 different countries. And I thought to myself, I don't even know if I can name 40 different countries. But anyway, Dr. Dan's a good friend of mine. He has a huge heart. He will always give you the time of day. And he is right in there, all of us trying to investigate and figure out what is going to be the next big thing for us. Tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about epigenetics. That is the next big thing. I mean, I thought that our delivery system was good enough. It wasn't. The next big thing is epigenetics. I'm going to share with you some of the results of that study, which shows that our products are very unique. In fact, these products and no other products have ever been shown to do what these products that I'm going to talk about tonight do. So hang on, we're going to get going. So this is our science, exploration. We are actively involved in finding new plants. There are approximately 600,000 plants out there, and only about 5% of them have been investigated for medicinal and wellness characteristics. So we are always on the move. Curation is putting these in the right combination and figuring out how we can get it into the body and specifically into the cell where it does its work. And then, of course, absorption. Absorption is really the cornerstone of our products, because we do have 11 different technologies that allow these products to actually get into the cell where they can function. We also are very proud of the fact that all 6 of our products are listed in the PDR, which is the physician's desk reference, which is really, if you're sitting with your doctor and he says, well, what are you taking? And then you say, well, I don't know what it is. All you have to do is say, well, they're listed in the PDR, and every doctor on earth is going to know what the PDR is. So we're very proud that our products are listed in the PDR. It just makes it more accessible. It also is sort of a brag point for our company, in that we are of such high quality that we are listed in the desk reference that every doctor has access to. All right, this is our 3 Medicinal Plant Research Institute in Thailand. The one thing that I'm very, very proud of is the fact that this is a pharmaceutical grade nutraceutical company. But it's more than that, because we are on the cutting edge of discovery and investigation, and we do the science. And 2 of the best clinical studies that we have continue to sort of catapult us into areas where no other company like ours has ever gone. So I'm proud that we are in the investigative stages. We actually have a farm in Thailand. We're doing research. Dr. Dan is constantly throughout the world looking for new plants. It's more than just plants. We're looking at fungus. We're looking at bacteria. We're looking at plants. We're looking at anything natural. And I'm speaking of natural, we're going to start talking a little bit about some of our products. I'm not going to go into like every ingredient. I don't find that that's something that's going to be useful. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what makes these different and why you need them. I think that unless you understand how and why our products are different, you can read, a list of ingredients, but I think I'm going to just briefly talk about why these are different. So this is Vitalite. This is our foundational nutritional supplement. It really gives you everything that you need. And so if you only had one to take, this is the one that I would pick. And you can see that it has superfood blends. I'll talk a little bit about that. It's got naturally derived vitamins, enzyme blend, omega-3 fatty acid, soft gel. It's got trace minerals, probiotics, and berry blends. All right, so let's talk a little bit about why would you want to have a superfood blend and a berry blend. And it's interesting because when we were designed, God made the fruits and vegetables that are the healthiest. He also made them the most colorful. He also put most of them at the equator. And that's why most of the superfoods and superfruits live there, because they're exposed to very, very high intensity ultraviolet light. So what happens to a human if you don't have sunscreen on and you're sitting at the equator? Well, yes, the answer is you'll get sunburn. So what God has done, especially in the equator, created all these amazing fruits and vegetables, but they have natural sunscreen in them. Natural sunscreen is called an antioxidant. So the plant develops it, it actually absorbs it, it actually turns colors when it's ripe. That is when the antioxidants are the richest, and that's the time that you're supposed to eat them. So we eat the plants and the fruits, and then we get to share and actually have and take advantage of all of the antioxidants that that fruit and vegetable has produced. So it's pretty cool. So we have a berry blend. We also have a superfood blend. Now, a lot of people think, well, trace minerals, why do I need trace minerals? For the main reason is that a lot of times I like to talk about water, because water is one of those things that a lot of us sort of take for granted. And briefly, I'm just going to tell you, if you're still drinking tap water, I would encourage you to not. The EPA just released within the last month a study which showed that 45% of the tap water from municipal plants actually was contaminated with forever chemicals. So those are things like vinyl chloride and other things that don't break down, that are highly carcinogenic. Okay, so a lot of you out there are thinking, well, that's great. I drink reverse osmosis or filtered water. Well, that's good, except that oftentimes you're removing a lot of the minerals. And so guess what? We actually have put 72 of those trace minerals back in. And the reason those minerals are so important is they really do allow for most of our nutrients to help them get across the wall of the GI tract. Not only that, but they actually are very active in a lot of the enzymatic functions of our body. Probiotics, many of you have heard of that. And we are actually more bacterial than we are human. So you heard me right. So you actually have more bacterial cells in your body and on your body than you have human cells. So there is definitely a reason for the bacteria to be there. And oftentimes we screw that up because we'll use antibiotics, or we'll drink things that have pesticides, or we'll eat things that have herbicides. And so anyway, probiotics are put back in. We have 4 different bacteria that are healthy bacteria for you. All right, omega-3, probably one of the most important supplements that you can take. If you think about what is our brain made out of, it's primarily made out of omega-3 fatty acids. It's very, very jelly-like, and if you've ever touched a brain. But in America, we have very, very low omega-3 fatty acid in our diet unless we eat fish. So it is something that does need to be supplemented. I'm going to go back here to one of the second point here, and you'll see it up here, naturally derived. I need to tell you that currently 92% of all of the vitamins that are out there on the shelves, 92% of them are synthetic. Now, none of ours are synthetic. We have 0 synthetic. We have natural forms. These are plant-based derived nutrients, which means they are healthy, which means there's not going to be a mismatch that occurs. Mismatches occur. If you do not give the body what it is used to and what it wants to receive, instead of the key locking like this, that's the way it's supposed to be, it locks like this. So synthetic vitamins do not work as well. In fact, they can sometimes cause some harm. All right, moving right along. This is one of my favorite products. This is Revive. This is one which is highly anti-inflammatory, and it actually is very refreshing to have a product which is going to allow for our joints and our muscles to be relieved of a lot of their discomforts because curcumin is naturally an anti-inflammatory. So if any of you have used this before, you surely know that curcumin is well known as curcumin, which is also from turmeric. So it is very highly inflammatory. It's highly antiviral, antibacterial. It actually helps modulate the inflammatory process. The problem with it has always been that if you take a curcumin capsule or a turmeric capsule, only about 5% of that is absorbed. So now we have a way where we can actually get it into the body, and not only that, but get it into the center of the cell where it does its work. All right, Eternal. This is one of our Power Pack products. This is jam-packed full of polyphenols, which once again, a polyphenol is what we talked about. It grows at the equator, highly antioxidant, very healthy for you to be taking. And it helps everything from health to modulating immune responses. But probably my favorite molecule that is in this product is glutathione, which is our body's most strong, our body's strongest antioxidant. And as we age, our body actually makes it, but by the time we hit 50 years old, we make very little of it. So what a great way for us to put it back into the body to help neutralize those free radicals. It also has collagen. It also has the superfruits. And if any of you are on a statin, you hopefully know that you need to be taking CoQ10. CoQ10 is depleted by a lot of medications that we take. So CoQ10 is something that needs to be replenished into our system. It works at the mitochondrial level to give us energy. Or if you watch television, which I do neither of those. But right now, collagen is a very trendy product. Sort of call it sort of beauty from the inside out. We really are starting to realize that when you put things on your skin, it really doesn't do anything except get on your skin. And so collagen is something, once again, that's depleted as we age. And so it's interesting, the way this works is it's micronized, meaning that it's fully bioavailable. It gets into the body, and it actually not only does it start to produce collagen, once it gets inside, it actually teams up with other molecules to help produce even more than what you're actually taking. So fantastic product, very popular. Anybody think immunity is important? I see all of you raising your hand. So yes, it is important. It's important not only for us to not catch viruses or bacteria, but immunity is very important for really protecting our DNA. Anything bad that happens to us, it usually attacks our DNA. And so immunity is incredibly important. And as you well know, we've had some viruses that have hit us recently in the last 3 or 4 years. I won't mention his name. But anyway, all of you know that we can modulate our immunity. We can go into the battle somewhat equipped. And there is definitely things like zinc and vitamin D3 and cordyceps and liposomal quercetin. All of these things have been masterfully put together to create a situation where we are ready to battle whatever it is that we need to face out there. All right, one of my favorite products, because we don't oftentimes think about purifying our bodies or detoxing our bodies, But I need to tell you that you need to start thinking about this because heavy metals exist. Heavy metals are probably more toxic in our environment than we have ever thought. We also need to think about plastics, even things like this. Microplastics are showing most likely they're responsible for the significant decrease in sperm counts and fertility in the entire world. And microplastics are a real problem. Things like glyphosate, Roundup, atrazine, these are all still very, very prevalent in our environment. And we really need to do whatever we can to detoxify our bodies. And I mentioned a little bit about drinking water, why it's so important for you to not only filter, but to take and put back all of those minerals that may be missing because of filtration. So this is another fantastic product. So I've hit all six. All six of our products are perfect. They actually complement each other very well because we're filling the tank up, but we're also purifying the tank. So I want you to think that although I've talked probably most fondly about Vitalite because it is sort of the core, the foundational product, all of them do complement each other. All of them can definitely be used together. But now we're going to talk a little bit about epigenetics. And most of you may have heard what epigenetics is, but it's a phenomenal, let me just explain it to you. And those of you that know anything about genetics, bear with me because I'm going to go a little bit slow, but this is a study which was released a week and a half ago. And it was released out in Anaheim, California at our convention. And this is groundbreaking information. But I first have to explain to you what epigenetics is so you can really appreciate what this study showed. And I'm going to probably spend 10 minutes and then I'll be done on talking to you tonight. And I hope that I enlighten you. I hope that what I'm doing in the next 10 minutes is going to show you that, number one, this company is interested in bringing science to you. We're interested in bringing nutritional supplements to you. We're interested in bringing an opportunity to you. But in my book, this is probably the most exciting thing because not only are we finding a way to improve your health and your wellness, but we're actually making inroads as to figuring out what is health and wellness. So let's get right to it. Epigenetics, we've got 20,000 genes that build and grow and maintain our body. All right. So we know that all those genes live in your DNA. Okay. And I'm going to skip forward. This is a really nice picture of your DNA. Okay. You've seen it. It's this strand. And it's amazing. Everything in your body is held on that DNA. It is scripted. All right. There is a code, whether it's my fingernail, whether it's this hair, whether it's my liver cell, everything started with one strand DNA mixing with another strand from your mother or your father, and that entire roadmap and everything that's turned on exists on those 20,000 genes, deciding what color your eyes are, deciding how tall you are. It all exists there. And that's all being held together on the DNA. Okay, so what's epigenetics? Epigenetics is the switch that turns certain genes on and other genes off. All right, there are 4 ways to turn on and off genes, okay? And so remember this because this is really vital to your health. Number 1, exercise. This will help you to turn on the good genes, turn off the bad genes. Nutrition, obviously, we're talking about that because we are a nutritional supplement company. The environment, we've talked about heavy metals, we've talked about plastics, we've talked about atrazine, even things like cell phone and a lot of electromagnetic radiation. Those are critically important. They can turn on and turn off the bad genes. And this is my favorite, number 4, love, social, and meaningful relationships. We know that if you love and receive love, you will live longer. We also know that you will live healthier. Now, I love that one, not because it's love, but because think about it. Why would God have even encoded love into our DNA? But he did. And we know that it makes a very, very real change in how long we live and how well we live. All right, we're going to get into it. And I'm only going to talk about two of the proteins that were actually shown to be upregulated. And I'm going to briefly talk to you about what this study by Dr. Dan, what he showed. So what we did is we took human liver cells, bathed them in physiological concentrations of 4 of our products. And then what we did is we did a baseline measurement of certain markers. And then after they had been bathed in our products, we then took a second measurement. And this is what we found. Now, the first one, and I'm only going to talk about 2. This one is called interleukin 6, IL-6. IL-6 is probably one of the most important inflammatory markers because it's a sort of generally we would say it's bad. You do not want a lot of IL-6 in your body. It can cause things like autoimmunity. It can rear up when you've got a bad cold. So it doesn't necessarily always do bad things, but for the most part, it comes on when you have a lot of inflammation. And inflammation, as you know, causes things like, cardiovascular disease. Anyway, interestingly enough, look at these results. Eternal had the power to actually decrease IL-6 by 1,250%. Revive decreased it by 123%, and Vitalite by 112%. So you can say, well, what does that mean? What that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that our products actually are able to penetrate the nucleus, get into the DNA, and modulate, decreasing the bad form of this interleukin, which is interleukin 6. The second one I want to share with you, this is called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and this is important for brain function and nerve function. And real briefly, look at this. Vitalite increased it by 840%. Collagen actually increased it by 570%, and Revive increased it by 430%. Now, I can't tell you what this is going to do in a human, but we know that things like autism, things like Alzheimer's disease, things like any kind of a neurologic, possibly even things like neuropathies, we know that brain-derived neurotrophic factors can play a role. So we didn't do the human studies, but we did a human cell study. I cannot make any claims what this is going to do in a human body. I need to make that very clear. But it's exciting to see that these products were able to actually penetrate the nucleus and had an amazing effect in increasing these proteins. That is the story about epigenetics. And that's why these products are so exciting. Not only, number one, are they highly bioavailable, number two, they're amazingly intuitive the way all 6 of our products work together. And lastly, we know that they have the ability to up and down regulate genes. And that's exciting because we've never really known exactly what these products do until now. Now we know that they actually probably don't have much of an effect on their own, but they're actually able to go to the master plan, turn on the master plan, and hopefully allow for us to receive the ultimate wellness. So on that note, I am going to send it back to Francoise. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, and thank you so much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Okay. Well, that was phenomenal. Always love hearing from you, Dr. Snyder. And, after hearing all that about the product, that's really what set us apart. With 3, we launched in February. We did a pre-launch for a couple weeks, and we officially launched May 22nd. And it was the largest launch in network marketing history. We launched in 14 countries. Day one, we did about $50 million in sales. And, we've been in the industry for, 7 years. I've never been this early. This is like the VIP room behind the VIP room. So everyone's heard this saying, if you get in early, you do well. Yes, it's because you get market share. And right now you have the opportunity to be part of our market share. My husband actually is joining us. This is my husband, Ricky Untermeyer. He's here joining us today. But it's very exciting because, you know, when you're looking at a company, if you can get in a company in the beginning, when it is still forming its foundation, just imagine if you were to see Mary Kay in its infancy, or Amway, right? And that was toilet paper and makeup, right? This is real science. This is clinically based studies, absorption studies, technology studies, right? It's accredited at the highest level. It's enforced by the FDA with the CGMP approval, ADT stamp. Doctors, we have over 750 doctors on our team. So when you look at something like this at its infancy, I mean, honestly, not only can you get healthy, you could really change your financial situation too, because you're in early.
Or even bigger, what about if you were seeing Apple for the first time? I know we want to compare like the Mary Kay's, but when we talk about epigenetics and this disruptive technology, what did Apple do to build $1 trillion business? It came out with something that was totally life-changing. And what I mean by that, we're walking around with a flip phone. And health and wellness hasn't been changed in 100 years, right? So this is disruptive. I compare 3 to Apple. And why can't you have that mindset or that thought process where you say, what if this is a company as disruptive as Apple? And you were able to see this in the formulation stage. As I know, because I owned up my own business now for 28 years, how do you build a business? You find a need. The last time I checked, there's a need for health and wellness in this country and in the world. And as you've seen in the last slide, 14 countries. I mean, it was hard enough for me to grow a business in Northeast Florida. I can't imagine simultaneously opening 14 countries as a company. But also, this is the foundational part of the business as you look at formulation. But as you go vertical in a building, a high rise, the foundation will go just as deep, right? So as you look at this company, you want to see disruptive, but you also want to see that it fits a need and it's disruptive, but also how stable is the foundation? So when it does go vertical in momentum, well, the company did just on Sunday, $1.5 million in a 24-hour period. And this team that you're looking at is full of some phenomenal leadership. And just this team last week in 7 days did over $1 million worth of products. What does that mean? That means people were the voice of the company. The company doesn't advertise or market. Only way it's going to grow is we go out and market to our network with something that's life-changing. Well, that's how powerful this team you're looking at is, because $1 million worth of products were shipped out in the United States. So this is a top team in the United States. You want to be on the top team because that is what is validation that things are going in the right direction, but also that you have the right support. So as the company hits concentration and then momentum, that's where you have exponential growth. For me, you know, I owned a construction company for 20 years. I didn't have leverage. I didn't have exponential growth. Why? Because they could only reach as far as I could reach. If I didn't work, I didn't get paid. If I didn't go get another job, I didn't get paid, right? His definition of insanity. But to gain leverage, what Warren Buffett says, you don't find a way to make residual income, you'll work for the rest of your life. So this creates leverage when a company hits momentum, and it's guaranteed because you're seeing the company in the formulation stage. What does that mean? Well, how can I guarantee exponential growth? Well, you're the first. I mean, if you look at it in your city, your town, you're seeing this in formulation, you're the first. So if you go out and share this, you're guaranteed exponential growth because you're at the beginning before momentum, but then you can have exponential growth, you can have leverage, you can have passive income, and you can have what I was looking for, time freedom. I was at the point, the breaking point. I think a lot of people, 99% of people that I know that create success, they do it out of desperation. 19 years old, I was broke, living in a 200 square foot house. I was desperate for a change in my life. I found a millionaire mentor that was willing to help me. And that's what we're here today. And this is a good illustration of help right here. If you look at this, it says team commissions on the top left. We're paid weekly. Hey, this is another huge blessing. I had to go chase my money around for 20 years. Now it just shows up. We've heard the old term mailbox money. What does that mean? That means it just shows up in your bank account. You don't have to go cash it. You don't have to go deposit it. It just shows up, but it grows exponentially. But also look under that. It says earn money infinitely deep Think about that. If that would be like, you see the blue top there, say sponsor. Imagine myself building a house and then forever, I get paid off that house forever, right? Whoever lives in it, whatever happens, I get paid infinitely deep. This is what happens in this profession. It's so powerful. Say Ricky and Francoise are the sponsor, and we sponsor L1 on the left of your screen, L1 on the right of your screen, but then someone above us sponsors, or we do actually under L1 spillover on the left side of your screen, and say spillover is Jim, but L1 is Kim. Regardless that Kim did not bring in the spillover, she's going to make passive income off of her forever, because it can only flow up. That's what infinitely deep means. These two lines, two legs, a left leg and a right leg, means binary. This is a binary pay structure. You're getting in at the beginning too. You're at the top, right? It can only grow straight down forever to infinity. So there's going to be people, like my wife says, a ladder that comes into your business that you didn't even bring in, that's called spillover, and you can make residual income.
Yeah. So like if you've never done anything like this before, and I think when people hear like network marketing, they think, oh, I have to have a lot of friends. I didn't have a lot of friends when I got started. You don't have to know a lot of people. You just have to know two. That's all. Because once you get the products in your body, you'll feel it within just 3 days or so. You feel it very fast because the bioavailability is so strong. Standard supplements, you're getting about 5 to 10% absorption here. When you get 90% or more, you feel it really fast, and you'll be very excited. You'll want to tell friends and family, especially people you love. But what Ricky was saying, and this is what I love, because I worked in corporate America for a long time, and the person above me would never want me to do better, because then I take his job or her job. But here, when he's showing you the structure, it's like a ladder. So say it's me, and then I sponsored you, and you came in here, and then I sponsored Joe, and they went here, and then you sponsored Sue, she goes here. The cool thing is, when you get in this ladder, the higher you are, the more market share you get, because you get paid off of all the volume. When you look down in the ladder, you get paid off of the volume that moves throughout the organization. So the higher you are, the more people you're paid off the moving of the product, not people. It doesn't matter on people, it's a matter of product. So it's so cool to get in early in a company like this, seeing it at its infancy and being part of the market share.
Yeah. So, you've seen and heard how powerful this company is. If you bring better value to the marketplace, you bring better experience to people. And when you bring better experience to people, they actually can feel and see a difference in these products day 1 or day 2. But how did they get started? Well, they take the product themselves.
Yeah,
so the company puts product packages together. This is not network marketing of old. When my wife brought me this profession, almost 8 years ago, I was thinking in my mind that I had to be the Mary Kay lady or the Amway guy, where I had to, because network marketing is changing this aspect that you don't have to house a product at your house. I mean, when I joined, I had a little PTSD. I joined at 28 years old. I know I look 30, but I'm 45.
Yeah, we have good collagen.
But I joined network marketing at 28 with a friend in the house, and I bought $1,200 worth of juice. I never heard from my friend, and I drank all the juice. So I didn't think that network marketing worked. But here's the powerful part of network marketing. Before, when I was 28, you had to house the product. And then when I was to refer Francoise, I had to go take the product to her. This is where it's changed. It's manufacturer to consumer business model, meaning the company is going to manufacture a product and they're going to ship it to you. So how do you get started? You try the product yourself.
Yeah.
And you essentially get other people an online membership to try the product as well. So the company has a $200 package. You look at the intro pack, bottom right, that's a month's supply of 3 of the 6 products. And then the premium pack is $600. You get 2 months supply of 4 of them, 1 month supply of 2 of them. The one, I'm not going to go over the builder's business pack for sake of time, but the founder's pack, 1960. This slide, if you can pay attention for a second and look at your screen, is very important. Right here on the top, about 3/4 of the way up, there's only 20,000 available globally. So we opened in 14 countries. This is a way, if you don't know someone in China, Vietnam, Japan, doesn't matter. Here, this package can get you literally 2% founders revenue share of the company forever. But it's only open to the first 20,000 people that purchase it. So you get $2,400 worth of product for $1,960. If you're one of the 20,000 people, the founder of the company has taken his revenue. So in your mind, don't think profit sharing. I want you to think revenue. So every week, every 7-day period, this company produces revenue in 14 countries. They take 2% off the top of that, not profit, every week forever going forward, even when they open another 100 countries. So eventually 114 countries. So it's guaranteed the revenue is climbing about, it was 21% last month. I would guess it'd be 30% this month. So the revenue is going to continue to climb. You buy this package one time, you're a founder for life. You can never lose it. This is not recurring. You don't have to buy it the following month. This is a one-time investment. And what I've seen, about 95% of people want this because there's an opportunity to share in the global revenue of the company. So you get 7 months supply of 4 of the products, 3 months supply of 2 of the products. And then also there is a compensation plan. So I don't want you to think you buy this package, it's the only way you may earn income. It's not just the 2%. There's a compensation plan that pays us 8 ways. Actually, the highest payout in the profession, 60% of the revenue goes into that. You buy this founders pack, you get a 9th way of getting paid just from buying the product. So the company, if you look at the bottom right, they're going to give you $440 worth of free product. They're going to keep you active status for 4 months. What does active mean? That means if I was to sign up Francoise, praise God, I would be really blessed, right? The company is going to keep her she buys the founders pack, is going to keep her active to get paid for 16 weeks if she buys this one time. So every week she can get commissions. And then on the 5th month, active status generally costs about $120 of product that you fall in love with. So that's going to come with 4 months. And then 3 levels of check match and 33% increase of pay for 4 months as well. So to combine the 3rd and 4th bullet point, they're really going to pay you about 50% more in the compensation plan without having to hit a normal rank requirement.
Absolutely. And as you know, Ricky was going over the founders pack, you know, you might be sitting there saying, why do I need so much product? You know, never doing this before. But if this is something that really resonated with you and you're like, yes, this is something I'd probably want to try to do, you need the product. I mean, first of all, if you're going to do a business, for you to be really respected by your peers, you have to try at least one of every product. Imagine opening a restaurant, inviting your friend to come over to try, you know, your restaurant, and they pull up a menu and they're like, hey, tell me about the calamari. You're like, oh, I haven't tried it yet. So you definitely want to try every one of the products and be able to speak from it from a very personal experience. People really don't care what's in them. They care how it made you feel. In addition to that, samples to your friends, or if somebody wanted to purchase something, like if you only buy one of each product, you're not going to want to give away your products, I promise you. So like someone's like, hey, can I try
to give it away even if with the founders?
Right? Like, I mean, you don't even want to give it. And for your family, if you have a husband or a wife or spouse or something like that, and you want your family to try the product. So this is what this sets you up for, is success. And so if it's something you cannot do today, if you can't, budget something like that, you get in where you fit in. Any of these packages will pay you 8 ways. The only package that will pay you that 9th, which is that 2% rev share, which is a huge opportunity. I mean, there's not a lot of people that have been in network marketing or even have been approached to be in the beginning like this, where you're able to be a founder, not just a brand ambassador. So don't feel pressured in any way. But if this is something you really think that could be something that could bless your family, put yourself in a position to win and get those founders, because they're almost gone. There's only a few thousand left. All right. So next here, this is our training. So my husband and I, when we started growing our organization, in our past experiences and different platforms we're on, we realized that people that come into network marketing, they necessarily want to start a business, but they don't have experience in the business as being an entrepreneur. So we have developed something that is really easy for people to understand. It's a plug and play system, very similar to a human resource department. A lot of you on here today work for corporate America. Maybe raise your hand if you do. So you're used to going to a human resource department, getting trained, coached, and developed. So we've put that in place for you. So when you buy that package, you become an entrepreneur. It's like you buying a restaurant. But when you open the door, you have the hostess there. You have the waitresses running around, the manager, the cook, the expo line, everything is working for you. That's what the system is. You're just the person that's standing outside the restaurant saying, hey, my hours of operation, and here's my menu, and taking a look at it. So if this is my restaurant, All I'm doing today is sharing with you my menu. Does anything look good to you? Physically, financially, emotionally, or spiritually. So if you could drive a car, I could teach you any skill. All you have to do is get on the product, have a personal belief, a personal experience that you really like. And if you're like, oh, I don't know if I really could be good at this, you all have shared something in your life. If you went to a good movie or went to a good restaurant and you liked it and it was a good experience, you told somebody. Yes, heads nodding. I'm pretty sure everyone could say yes here. And so it's the same thing here. We just fell in love with 3. We fell in love with the products. We fell in love with the way this made us feel. And then we are out now looking for other people that want to stand up and advocate, that want to go out and be part of this movement. And, there are so many people that are looking for health, and there's so many people that's looking for extra streams of income. A side hustle is the new job security. And we learned it the hard way in 2008, 2009. And so if you're struggling with this in any way, like, oh, I don't know if I'll be good, I promise you there's a system that will help you. There's training at every level, and you can go as fast as you want or as slow as you want. Typically, people will work this 2 to 5 hours a week. This is a side hustle. You do it in the nicks and crannies of your day.
And you don't think I can drive, so I can still be successful. So,
Yeah,
hey, and what I'll say of this is a free system, and it's just really with the mindset of no one left behind. So they don't have the fear of not having any help. And that's all we wanted to create, a system that would serve people, love people, and also where they didn't feel alone. So help us help you. Group 1, this is really just 4 groups that we've been able to kind of put in different categories to see where people were at. So anybody that got you on the Zoom, they can get back with you and say, hey, which group do you think you're in? This is what we do at a home meeting or with our friends. Group 1, I'm not open to investing in your health or making extra money. I know none of you are in group 1 because Dr. Snyder will come find you. Group 2, I would like to be a customer. Great. You can order it straight from your friend's link and the company ships it straight to your door. See the awesomeness of this profession now. Group 3, look, I could see me doing something part-time and making some money, but also getting healthier. I think we all need this. And actually, Francois resonated some with me. Fortune magazine 2 weeks ago wrote an article which was profound to me. They said in the next year, 12 months, that half of the United States will have a side gig, even if they're making over $100,000. Why? Because there's a huge need for people with opportunity. Inflation has caused, I believe, 50% more in cost of living from 2019. So the raises are not outpacing that, right? So people are looking. They're looking. That means 3 is being born right in the perfect timing of the next month of expansion into the side gig entrepreneurship vehicle. Group 4, still part-time, but they want the 2%. They want the founders pack. And as you look at these groups, I would say, are you desperate enough? And I always go back to my story. I was apprehensive to join network marketing. I was apprehensive to join entrepreneurship at 19. Both was scary. I never did it. But the alternative, that's what I want to ask you. Are you desperate enough? What was the alternative for me? When I started approaching 40, I really started to understand what the Bible says. We're a vapor. That dash is really short. I felt like time was flying by, and I was not even knowing my kids. Or when I came home, I was mentally shut off because of the stress. Are you coming home stressed? Are you desperate to get out of what you're doing? I was desperate. I didn't care. Was I apprehensive? Yes. But my wife loved me enough to put me on the phone, just like someone did here. Someone loved you enough. They're not trying to pressure you. They care about you. My wife cared about me when I said, you go do that with your girlfriend. And she put me on the phone. And just like this Zoom, that phone call literally changed my trajectory of my life. And I started this part-time 3 to 5 hours a week. And I was retired in a year. Like, it makes me emotional because I thought I was stuck in construction. I gave up on my dreams. I buried them and thought I'm not even in my purpose. This is not what I was created for. But this is the only thing a high school dropout could go do. But my wife, just like your friend, loved you enough to get you on here. She loved me enough to get on that phone call. And it's literally been the best decision of my life, and not for the money. The time freedom is awesome, but the relationships, how much I've been able to grow as a man, a person, and the people that I've been able to meet. If this profession is done right on the right team, it's life-changing for you. So as you look at this company, you're not just looking at a company that is super disruptive, it's brand new. You're looking at a team that is full of relentless leadership that actually loves and serves people. That if you say yes to this, you're not going to be by yourself. You're not going to have the old PTSD that I have and so many other people have from this profession. Give it some grace is what I'm asking today. If you're desperate enough, give the opportunity some grace. Look, it's easy entry in this profession. It takes time for some people to grow, but also some people get in this profession and treat people unprofessionally. We're not going to do that on this team. I can promise you that. You say yes to 3, you're saying yes to the best experience you could ever have in this profession. And I stick to that. I put my name on that, and I promise you on my kids, because that's the kind of leadership we've attracted on this team. And we're going to do this with biblical principles, and we're going to treat people like we want to be treated. So we thank you. This is a little bit longer because we had to get Snyder in here. And I don't want you to think, hey, do I have to be on an hour Zoom every time? No, it's usually about 20 minutes. But to epigenetics and the value of this company, it's a little longer. But thank you for staying with us, 255 people. We love you, and God bless.
Bye-bye.